Thanks for joining us for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. I'm Mark Martin. Coming up, the Department of Justice is urging the courts to step in again and suspend a new Texas law that bans virtually all abortions. We will bring you the latest developments. Plus, he's a former slave from Africa with a message for supporters of critical race theory and other activists in America.
The United States of America is the only country that can free you to a point where you can get a decent jobs, and be a free man.
And now he's running for president of South Sudan, trying to unite the country with Christian beliefs. It's the #1 cause of pain around the world. We'll tell you what it is and give you some tips on how to take care of it.
We have to actively stretch. We have to actively do things to make sure our bodies remain as limber as possible.
And you can take steps to ease the pain in just 15 minutes a day. Those stories and more today on CBN NewsWatch.
This is CBN NewsWatch.
We begin with the battle over life inside the womb. The Biden administration continues to try to block a Texas law that bans abortion after a heartbeat is detected. CBN correspondent Brody Carter has been following the fight. Brody, what's the latest?
Mark, the Justice Department is stepping in, arguing the Texas law violates the U.S. Constitution. The heartbeat law, it actually acts on September 1st for when it became a law, banning abortions once a heartbeat is detected, which is roughly 6 weeks after conception. Now, last week, that law was momentarily suspended by a district judge, but reinstated by the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. Yesterday, the Biden Justice Department once again urged the courts to step in and suspend that heartbeat law. The motion was filed in the same Court of Appeals that overturned the last week's suspension. Now, pro-life pregnancy centers, meantime, they're doing their best to work with the new time frame, knowing that abortion-minded women, they feel rushed. Their goal is to help them understand all of their options.
We have a very short window of time now, where before we would have, up to the 10-week, 12-week mark. Now we have really less than 6 weeks to reach them, and that's a very quick turnaround. That's our goal, right, is to reach the abortion-minded woman so that she may still leave our doors and decide to abort, right? But we want her to have had the chance to have someone come alongside her and show her all of her options, and really know that she's loved and she's cared for. And also to say, hey, if you do choose abortion, we want you to come back here because you're going to need some help. You need some support and some healing.
A decision on whether to suspend the heartbeat law could come as soon as today. Now, the Supreme Court could even be asked to intervene and determine the future of the Texas heartbeat law. Mark, back to you.
Thank you, Brody. Now to the fight against COVID-19 and new hopeful signs things are improving. The FDA could soon approve an antiviral pill to treat the virus, and news on booster shots for Moderna and J&J. We could hear from the FDA as soon as this week. CBN's Jenna Browder has the latest.
There's reason to be hopeful with COVID-19 cases, hospitalizations, and deaths all declining, including infections among kids. Add to that new medical advances, and it's welcome news for Americans. Still, experts warn we are not out of the woods.
And it's about 50% effective at preventing hospitalization.
Among those medical advances, the first antiviral pill designed to fight COVID. Merck seeking FDA emergency authorization. The drug maker says in its trials, the drug cut the risk of hospitalization in half for people at risk for severe disease. The pill can be taken at home, 4 pills every 12 hours for 5 days. Still, with transmission rates high nationwide, experts continue to encourage the vaccine.
But remember, the vaccine is virtually 99% effective at preventing hospitalization. You'd much rather prevent getting the illness than treating it once you've already gotten it.
Vaccine mandates, though, are still unpopular in many places. In Texas, Governor Greg Abbott, in an executive order, is now banning mandates by all entities, including private businesses. And in California, the man in charge of the country's largest sheriff's department says he's not enforcing vaccine requirements for his employees.
I'm not forcing anyone. The issue has become so politicized, there are entire groups of employees that are willing to be fired and laid off rather than get vaccinated.
Thursday and Friday, the FDA will also review data on vaccine boosters from Moderna and J&J. If the agency gives the green light, they'll go to the CDC for final approval next week. And another symbol of hope as some aspects of life begin to return to normal. 18,000 determined athletes at the first Boston Marathon in 2.5 years.
We were pumped. We're excited to finally have it back and, back to the way it used to be.
And each runner had to show proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test. The same requirements will be in place later this month for the Philadelphia and New York marathons. In Washington, Jenna Browder, CBN News.
We want to take a quick look now at some other big stories that we're following in the CBN newsroom. A plane crash in Southern California claimed the lives of 2 people and injured 2 others. The twin-engine plane crashed in this neighborhood and completely engulfed a home with a couple inside. Neighbors rescued both. The plane slammed into a UPS truck, killing the driver. The pilot who owned the plane also died on the scene. Investigators are working to determine what caused the crash. Gas prices are surging, hitting highs not seen in more than 5 years. Prices now topping $3 a gallon, with the national average at $3.26. Analysts blame supply backups because of the pandemic and Hurricane Ida. California Governor Gavin Newsom signed a law forcing department stores to create gender-neutral toy sections. The law says retailers with 500 or more employees within the state must supply a selection of the items and toys for children in a gender-neutral section of the store. In addition, if the store sells toys online, they must have a section on the website indicating unisex or gender-neutral. Any store violating the new standards is subject to a fine of $250 for the first violation and $500 for any additional violations. The law takes effect in 2024. Lego announced it would work to remove gender stereotypes from its toys. The decision was made after a global survey found girls are being held back by gender stereotypes. Lego says they want to make its products more inclusive so children's ambitions are not limited by gender. No word on exactly what the Lego looks to modify. Well, coming up, a former slave from Africa brings a message to America for some of the people raging in today's culture war.
When I came to Regent University, it's like the world opened up. I felt like I needed to advance my career and go back to school. Regent was a perfect fit for me. The Regent professors are world class. You are equipped. The focus of the faculty is on each individual student, whether it's online or in person. You become a part of Regent's family. You carry with you not just the content and the knowledge, but the confidence to understand that we can be significant in the world.
Regent University. Follow your path.
Nigerian Christians
in Iran are routinely arrested.
Happily, Christians continue to suffer.
In times of trial and affliction, you need to know the truth.
One of the fastest growing Christian populations in the world.
Join Wendy Griffith and George Thomas for Christian World News.
Young people are the ones who are open to the gospel.
Powerful stories of suffering and hope that affect all Christians.
Saturday night at 6 on the CBN News Channel.
Get Protect Your Sleep and discover how to improve the quality of your life. A free DVD or booklet from the Christian Broadcasting Network.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
5 leading experts help remove the obstacles between you and restorative sleep.
When you don't get a restful night's sleep, you wake up with an accumulation of stress.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com to get your free DVD or booklet today.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
You'll discover how food affects your sleep, how to put insomnia to rest, explore effective remedies for sleep apnea, and much more in Protect Your Sleep. Wake up to your best life and get Protect Your Sleep today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com to get your free DVD or booklet.
A former African slave is telling Black Lives Matter and critical race theory advocates that they need to go back to school to understand what is happening in Africa today. Bolgai Dang, who is also a declared presidential candidate in South Sudan, told CBN's Gary Lane how he became a slave and what BLM activists need to know about the USA.
I was a slave in 1987 as a young boy in my village. The government of Sudan declared the war against the rebel of South Sudan, majority Christian. I become a victim of that because they took me and very much they beat up majority of my family. I was kidnapped. I was taken with more than 700 kids, walk 250 miles all the way from the South Sudan to North Sudan. And then I realized that I got sold in the market. And I did not realize that because I did not speak Arabic at that time. I used to speak only the Africa Dinka language. And then I have to be beat up. I have to be told what to do. And sometimes they used to put the chain in my legs to the point where I have become so disciplined to my master. And then he gave me a little bit of assignment to go and give the cattle water. Then from there, I managed to run to the capital of Sudan, which is the Khartoum. And then I got received by the international organization, which is a Catholic charity at the time. And then I ended up at Khartoum. And then also with another problem that Khartoum was very much in sponsor of Osama bin Laden, the man who under mastermind the 9/11, lived in Khartoum for 6 years. Then from there, actually, I went to Egypt. From Egypt, I got asylum to the United States in 1999.
How old were you, Bull, when you became a slave?
I was around 7 years old at the time. I was young, at 7 years old.
And how long were you a slave?
I've been a slave for 3 years.
And as a former slave, I know you have expressed some concerns about the Black Lives Matter movement here in the U.S., also the teaching of critical race theory. What are you telling people? What's your concern?
My concern is that they need to understand that slavery still exists in Africa. We are talking about the 21st century slave, and I believe the Black Lives Matter do not understand what's going on in Africa. They don't know what is going on around the world. In fact, the United States is the only country in the world that can give a slave freedom to become a congresswoman. You cannot find that in the world except in the United States of America. United States of America is the only country that can free you for a point where you can get a decent jobs, and be a free man, as a Black woman and African woman, and to become an African American. I think they need to understand that the slavery still exists, and they need education, and they need to listen to people in my background, that Africa today, more than 9.2 million are still in captivity, in slavery. If you go to Libya right now, while I'm talking in North Africa, a slave had to be sold for $400 US. A woman had to be sold for $400 US in the market in Libya right now. So that means that they need to open up to the world and know the crisis of slavery still exists in Africa and around the world.
And many of those people that are advocating Black Lives Matter here in the U.S. and CRT have never been to Africa. There are many divisions in South Sudan right now, Dinka and Nuer. Others are still fighting one another. How do you expect to bring people together as president?
You know, I want to thank you and your audience as a Christian organization that we in the Christian community, we believe in love, we believe in peace, we believe in unity. And my life in America taught me so much to the point where if you live in the United States, you are an American citizen. And I believe that the same philosophy could be taking place in South Sudan in my leadership. I think what they need now is a good leader to understand that what is going on in South Sudan is the lack of the leadership and not this tribal line. And I believe that because my leadership right now, I have more tribal from minority tribe who are very much supporting me today more than ever before.
Still ahead, the leading cause of pain around the world and what most people can do to cure it. We'll have that story right after this.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. All the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.
This is CBN NewsWatch.
Thanks for joining us.
Watch breaking news,
exclusive stories and programs, credible news reporting.
We show you what's happening in the world and how you can pray about it.
This is CBN NewsWatch, because truth matters. Weekdays at 5 on the CBN News Channel.
Woohoo! Hi, Superbook fans. Here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
Millsburg Falls man, come.
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes too, and so much more. Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon. It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Your news channel, your shows, the stories you care about. Anytime you want, anywhere you want. Download the CBN News app today.
Welcome back to NewsWatch. Billions of people suffer from back pain. It's the world's single largest cause of disability. The COVID pandemic has only caused the suffering to spike. So what's the #1 way to prevent back pain that only takes 15 minutes a day? CBN's medical reporter Lori Johnson brings us the answer.
We can add one more item to the list of problems caused by the pandemic. Doctors say the shutdowns led to increased back pain because people stopped going to the gym, laid on the couch, and ate too much junk food.
We have to actively stretch. We have to actively do things to make sure our bodies remain as limber as possible.
That's because bodies naturally get stiffer as we age, increasing the risk of back injury. Spinal surgeon Dr. Bolan Okubadejo says maintaining flexibility is the #1 way to prevent back pain. He recommends stretching at least 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week.
If your quads are tight, if your hip flexors are tight, then they won't move in the way that they're designed to, and the stress goes somewhere else. And the body, for whatever reason, tends to have the stress go right into the lower back.
The next best move to avoid back pain is by strengthening your core muscles by doing exercises like leg lifts, planks, and sit-ups.
So you are strengthening your abs, you're strengthening your core, and that in turn protects your back and gets your back healthier.
Whether at home or the office, strive for an ergonomic workstation.
So if you're working at your dining table, be aware of the height of the table. Maybe get a chair that can adjust to a height where not as much stress goes into your lower back. Another thing that I love is a standing desk.
Extra pounds can strain bones and muscles in your back, so try to maintain a healthy weight. Also, avoid sugar, which can lead to inflammation, the root of most low back pain. Doctors recommend giving up smoking because it restricts blood flow to the spine and impairs your body's ability to heal. Also, consider where you sleep.
If your mattress is too soft and your back sinks into the mattress, then your risk of injury becomes higher.
When getting dressed, avoid flip-flops and high heels when possible, and take other precautions.
You want to put your pants on from a seated position where you're not stressing your lower back.
Try to bend at the knees when picking things up, not at the waist. When back pain does arrive, doctors say it's better to move around rather than staying in bed, and proper medication can help.
A combination of the proper anti-inflammatory and non-prescription analgesics can often lessen the pain and prevent us from going down the route of opioids.
When drugs don't work, sometimes surgery is an option.
When patients have what we call radicular pain, so pain that travels down your arms, that's relentless, and your MRI shows something that clearly puts pressure on the nerves, that's surgical. So if you have progressive weakness in either your arms or your legs, if you have issues with balance, and your MRI or CT scan shows clear pressure on the nerves, that's surgical.
So while millions of Americans suffer from back pain, the good news is it's often preventable or at least controllable. With a little know-how and a few important lifestyle changes, we can age gracefully and avoid this common affliction. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
You can catch Healthy Living with Lori Johnson tonight at 8:30 Eastern on the CBN News Channel, or you can see it on the CBN News app. Coming up, one woman's story of how God took one of the scariest moments of her life and turned it around to something she could never have even imagined.
Want to be a part of a community that inspires your spiritual growth while winning prizes? The all-new MyCBN app. Connect with the community for prayer and encouragement. Track and set spiritual goals. Enjoy conversation starters with friends and family. And collect points to win prizes. The all-new MyCBN app. A great place to belong. Download the app at cbn.com/mobile.
Nutrition, exercise, essential oils, weight loss, and more. It's Healthy Living with Lori Johnson.
Talk about what's in this.
Join CBN health reporter Lori Johnson to get the latest information from today's top health experts.
This is fantastic.
Find out what you need to know to live a healthier life. Watch Healthy Living
Tuesday night at 8:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Too often, we carry baggage from our past. You know what it's like. It affects everything and everyone in our lives. It's always there, weighing us down and keeping us from achieving true happiness. But do you know God never meant for us to be trapped in the past? You can be free of your baggage. Learn how God's forgiveness leads to changed lives and new beginnings. Call the 700 Club.
Download the CBN News app. One place for all of your news. Breaking news alerts. Watch CBN News Channel live. CBN News, because truth matters. Get the CBN News app today.
Welcome back. God took an extreme health scare for one young mom and created something beautiful out of it. Brooke Riley's story includes job stress, a mini stroke, God-given talents, prayer, and hard work, all resulting in $1 million home business. Our Charlene Aaron and Wendy Griffith have her story on this week's Prayer Link.
Brooke, listen, you struggled with anxiety and burnout and even suffered a mini stroke at 29.